huge scandal, guys. We just caught a swamp creature who was taking kickbacks while they were program director at the USDA. You know, the agency responsible for ensuring things like food safety of agricultural products. And you're not gonna find this in the mainstream media being covered anywhere. First off, let me know in the comments, guys, if anyone is surprised at government officials lining their pockets and leveraging their position in government to do it. And why do you guys think the media is silent about this? I have an idea that I want to get into, but let's crush this story first. For real, guys, I'm fed up with these corrupt, selfish administrators in government and the culture of nepotism that comes with it. And I'm glad we're finally creating an environment where something can get done about this crap, because in my opinion, if you see somebody engaging in stuff like this, it demonstrates that their moral compass is effed all the way up. And I wouldn't be surprised if you find a lot more under the hood accompanying this kind of behavior. So it turns out the US Department of Agriculture has a civil rights division, and that division has a position called program director that manages a very large fund of money. And I found this Florida committee hearing that I think lets on how this whole system works pretty well. Check it out.
I'm a new member to the committee and have the privilege to represent a Florida district that we think now may be the largest ag district east of the Mississippi. So a lot of your work is vital to my constituents, and appreciate all your hard efforts there. A specific question, and a lot of my others have already been touched on, but first, a more specific one that's near and dear and timely for us. And in years past, after natural disasters, USDA has worked with state governments to set up block grant programs that ensure appropriated disaster relief money gets into hands of producers as quickly as possible. My district, Florida 18, was recently devastated by Hurricanes Ian and Nicole back to back. Do you believe that USDA is able to effectively collaborate with states like mine in initiating block grant programs that, at least from our experience in the past, seem to have little to no waste or fraud? And then can you speak to their successes in the past?
So it looks like, and let me know in the comments if I'm reading this right, but I'm gathering that the USDA has some sort of internal FEMA-style division where they're able to take and divert funds to different vendors or contractors that are able to help, you know, the agricultural industry in districts like this guy's that might have been devastated by natural disaster or whatever it is. So I imagine the Civil Rights Division and the funds that they distribute work in a very similar way, where there's contractors and vendors, but it's in the purpose of accomplishing civil rights stuff. Look at that. Yet again, our empathy is getting turned against us. The Civil Rights Division being taken advantage of, money getting squeezed out time and time again. These people take advantage of our empathy. All right, so with that in mind, we got this dude named Kirk Perry over here, and he's program director of this Civil Rights Division with this crazy long name, dude. Department of Agriculture, Office of the Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights. Leave it to the administrative state to try to bore us out of paying attention to what they're doing. So anyway, this dude, Kirk Perry, gets arrested with his nephew, Jamaria Grant, in a scheme where they billed the government for work that was never done. Wouldn't that be nice? To have an uncle in the government call you up and say, hey, you want some free money? Well, actually, I take that back, because now they're looking at 20 years in jail. And I mean, this is set in stone. They both just pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit money, property, and honest services wire fraud for running up a bill on the government for services never rendered to the tune of $400,000. Now, that's some serious money, and this case is cut and dry, so unless they get a sweetheart deal, that sentencing hearing is not going to be a fun day. But in the grand scheme of things, that's not a whole lot of money, like in terms of what our government is wasting on a daily basis. But this dude has a prominent position at the USDA. I mean, this is some newsworthy stuff. And that all got me thinking, why is this nowhere in the mainstream media? I mean, I could only find a couple articles on this. You'd think there'd be at least one video that I'd be able to use in this report, either on the arrest or on the guilty plea. So I did a little digging. And I mean, it didn't take much. It was less of a digging and more of a light dusting before I immediately found this coming out of Florida from 4 years ago.
In a few moments, Mr. Cootie will describe the criminal kickback scheme that is alleged in the indictment. Assistant Special Agents in charge, Bell and Lecker, will also share some details about this corrupt kickback scheme in which it is alleged that federal, state, and local government officials and others breached the public's trust and conspired to steal, and did in fact steal, from the public that they had been trusted to serve. As Mr. Cootie will explain, The indictment alleges the corrupt abuse of public office for personal enrichment through the theft of taxpayer dollars by 29 past and present government officials who worked at all levels of our government.
And he went on to specify that all levels of government meant local, state, and federal. This is out of Florida. Remember earlier that clip that we saw with a representative out of Florida asking if the USDA could pass off some money to his district too? You remember what he said?
USDA is able to effectively collaborate with states like mine in initiating block grant programs that, at least from our experience in the past, seem to have little to no waste or fraud.
And then can you speak to their successes in the past?
I mean, the similarities between these two stories indicate something systemic here. We got one out of Ohio, the first one, the second one out of Florida. In Ohio, it was a program director of a civil rights division for the USDA. In Florida, it's an executive director of the USDA's Farm Service Agency, and both were active at the time. I mean, is it just me, or are these nearly identical in nature? See, guys, I'll tell you why I think the media is not reporting on this. Because there's something systemic going on here. It goes a lot deeper than what we're seeing. And the only people that we see getting in trouble for this are the ones that are inconvenient. And the last thing the USDA or the corporate media would want is the Trump administration and Doge sniffing around right now. I'm starting to get the vibe that the USDA needs to be dug into by Doge as much as the USAID did, because I'm fully sketched out at this point. But how about you guys, man? Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, share the video for me. By the way, everybody who went to jail in Florida got over a year, so these guys in Ohio, they're not gonna have a fun sentencing hearing. Thank you so much for joining me, y'all. You rock, I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one.